my kids and my wife are constantly stealing my socks. Now, it wouldn't bug me so much, except they only take my Stance socks. And my Stance socks are all in my starting rotation. That's right, I had 12 pairs of Stance socks because I had a subscription last year. That's right, and I love them all. And they're all gone. My family aren't dummies. Stance socks look and feel amazing. So if they're going to steal socks from me, they're going to be the best. So this year, for Christmas, I'm getting myself another subscription. And good news, because Stance has made gift giving super simple this holiday season. Stance's premium line of socks, apparel, and more always comes correct with colorful constructions, innovative materials, and choice fits that are built to last. Throw in an all-star curation of A-list collaborators, and those lucky recipients on your holiday nice list have never had it so good. Check out Stance.com for all the latest, including several different subscription options that are sure to keep your friends and family and me feeling great all year round. And I love the collaborations they have going right now. Harry Potter, Batman, The Goonies, Star Wars, The Office, Wu-Tang Clan, Jill Perkins, Disney, Barbie, Marvel, Bob Marley, Major League Baseball, NBA, and Pixar. Literally something for everyone. Stance has the perfect gift for every punk and poet on your list. Go see for yourself. It's easy. Just head on over to Stance.com and pick out some styles you think they might like. Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance.
Listen, number one, am I having a Twix for breakfast with my coffee? Yes, I am, because if people can have biscotti, I can have a Twix.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks Podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, November 19th. This is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, we got Tass Mellis.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, Tassy. Got my Top Shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
The international man of mystery, taking it to the other side of the pond. It's Leigh Ellis.
Hello, me old mateys. How we doing over there?
Oh, boy. And last but not least, making the magic happen, it's super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Leigh, I know people are going to be curious, especially in the stream team. Why are you in England?
Well, you guys know we'll be back in the studio soon. We got Thanksgiving next week. It's a bit of a short week, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to come and catch up with some friends and family that I haven't seen for a few years, and hopefully have some fun times and fun stories that I can share with you guys on the show. So that's really all. Just squeezing in a little extra trip to see some special people in my life.
Okay, excellent. Where are you right now? What room are you in?
Specifically, where am I? I'm in a little dungeony sort of room in this massive complex here, but it's actually a podcast room. I'm not going to do a whole walk around, but trust me, it's good. I did a test with JD as well. Before the show, I was like, oh, I've just got to get it past JD. He's like the last layer of security here, and it was good enough, I think, for him. But I'm in Manchester, and tomorrow I'm going to Liverpool. I talked about it yesterday. Uncle Trig supposedly he's got tickets for Liverpool Arsenal as of 3 p.m. local time. We don't have tickets for Liverpool Arsenal,
okay.
So we'll have to see if they are coming through. But hopefully they will.
Did you?
You took off your glasses too. There, you're being even more professional across the pond because there was, I guess, a glare on the old specs.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I've got my own little ring light here, which it's a little bit harder to get the effect of the light further away. So I have to have it up closer. It glares. You see the ring light, so I took the glasses off.
Nice.
So
I love that your connection is somehow better in England than it is in your house, like 5 miles from me. I don't get it.
Yeah, funny story. Actually, two funny stories. The first one, I had a battery what's it called? Like a when you
adapter, maybe
adapter. That's the word. Yeah. My adapter wouldn't work until like 45 minutes ago. Broke. So Uncle Trig had to run out to Boots, the pharmacy over here, to find an adapter. He came back with 4 adapters. He said, try one of these. It got to work. And I said, I've probably got enough battery life, but I got to have an adapter. So that worked. And then when I did connect to the Wi-Fi, it's fast. It's not the fastest. I went up to the lady and I said, is there like a corporate Wi-Fi maybe I could use? And she's like, what's a corporate Wi-Fi? And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if you don't know what a corporate Wi-Fi is, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure you have one. So I'm winging it here on the guest. We'll see how it goes. So far, so good.
Cool story, bro.
Wow. JD, I thought you were going to hit it twice. I mean, both of those were pretty cool stories. Okay. Well, we're happy to have you here, Leigh. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live here on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, share the show. Go grab your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com as we get closer to the holidays, and email in your NBA and non-NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. What are you guys giggling away about? There must be a funny comment in the stream team or something.
Well, I don't know what Trey's giggling. Like I thought the second story was going to get better than the first one, so I understand why JD didn't
think that with him.
Well, because of the quality of the first one, and the second one was good. What I'm giggling at is 937's comment: a corporate WAHFAH, a corporate Wi-Fi.
Freya from the Great British Bake Off was working at the front desk. I'm laughing because everybody's saying, "Did you happen to schedule a leaf blower appointment?" You bring
Actually,
one with
yes.
you?
Oh, I tell you what, there's a lady out here mopping. Maybe that's about as noisy as it'll get in here, which is actually a sweet relief.
It's funny you say that. I was thinking once we do all get back in the same room and start to podcast from the same spot, instead of Cool Story Bros and dropping that clip, we need to have an actual leaf blower by us, and then somebody shares a boring story and somebody gets to fire it up right there.
Good.
Okay, so before we get into last night's games and we hit the beach to answer your questions and rapid fire fun, and yes, we will address Paul Pierce denying pooping his pants, so stick around for that. Stick around like a poop stuck to your butt for that. No, we first have a fun little rumor. Hit the stinger, JD. Hey, be honest with me, guys. Are you tired of Ben Simmons trade rumors? Oh, because we've got another one. Sort of a new one, I guess. Because this is coming from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Pistons forward Jeremy Grant is one of the players on the Sixers list of targets for a potential Ben Simmons trade. This is from Keith Pompey, again, of the Philly Inquirer there. Pompey also confirms Sam Amick's of the Athletics report that James Harden is also on Philly's list. I mean, first things first, release the list. Release the list. Come on, Maury. Let's see those 30 names. Let's see who you got on it. But the Pistons little angle here, I thought would be fun to start with, Tass. Again, this is Pompey saying the team, the Sixers, have engaged in ongoing discussions with the Pistons to acquire Jeremy Grant, another forward, a young player, and a draft pick in exchange for Simmons. So the question really here, to get us started on the drop, is do you think from the Pistons side of things, they should be active in trying to trade for Ben Simmons? What do you think?
Undoubtedly. If this is the trade offer, yeah, you do it. I'm excited that there's a list, that Daryl Morey has a scroll, I imagine. He's leaning back with a pipe and a big scroll with 30 names on it. And if Jeremy Grant is the one on the list from the Pistons, the Sixers should think about it. And this is going to sound really crazy. The two names that were released supposedly from this list, James Harden of the Nets, again, and Jeremy Grant of the Pistons. And if I'm the Sixers, this sounds dumb, but I'd rather take Jeremy Grant at this point than James Harden, just because there's just too many questions with James Harden. We've seen the sample size this year, waiting for the Ben Simmons sample size, see how he plays. But James Harden's sample size has not been great. I know he's still young, but he is coming off that hamstring injury. He only is guaranteed through the rest of the season. It feels like if Daryl Morey were to trade for James Harden, it would feel a little bit like when he was running the Rockets front office and he decided, I'm going to trade Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook. And then Russell Westbrook had to be traded for John Wall. It just feels like James Harden might not work out there in Philadelphia. Jeremy Grant, at least you know what you're getting. And I know it's not a sexy name. And I know there's a young player and a draft pick and all that might not really appease Joel Embiid. But at the same time, Jeremy Grant is very solid. He went from the bubble as a third option to playing just as well as a number one option last year with the Pistons. Is it exactly what the Sixers need? No. But if I'm the Pistons, yeah, of course I take Ben Simmons. Don't you guys? I mean, at least change the direction of the team, get younger. You're not getting, I know you may have to attach a draft pick or something, but you've got a billion draft picks that you're trying to work out yourself. So yeah, if I'm the Pistons, sign me up.
Yeah, let me hit you with like a hypothetical trade, TK. And again, I want to hear your take from the Pistons side of things. It would be Jeremy Grant. Let's say it's Kelly Olynyk, though he can't be traded until December 15th. And then if it's a young guy, I'm guessing it's like a Killian Hayes or a Sadiq Bey, maybe one of those two guys. And then let's say a pick or two, whether there's protections on them, who knows? Does that intrigue you? Is the real question here, do you love the idea of Ben Simmons playing with Cade Cunningham?
I love Ben Simmons and Cade Cunningham together. I think that's a solid match right there, but I wouldn't give up a whole bunch for Ben Simmons because that to me would then be the Pistons really accelerating the rebuild. And I don't think Simmons is the guy that's going to take them to the next level. Like, it probably makes them a play-in/playoff team. So yeah, if it's just Jeremy Grant for Ben Simmons, I'm 100% in right there. But if you're having to give up picks, if you're having to give up Sadiq Bey, I would say Sadiq, no way on that one. I would rather keep him around in that trade. Olynyk, fine. Killian Hayes, fine. But if you're wanting me to throw in a bunch of players and a bunch of picks for Ben Simmons, I'm not super into it if I'm the Pistons. Adding Ben Simmons would be great. If it's just one guy, I think that's fine. But if you're saying we're rolling with Cade Cunningham and Ben Simmons as our core, I don't necessarily think that's enough to be giving up the next couple of years of your future.
What do you think, Leigh?
Yeah, I think, Killian Hayes is definitely the player they'd be prepared to give up. I mean, they kind of have to if you're getting Ben Simmons anyway, because you don't need him in that position. Jeremy Grant, yeah, good player. I think he would sort of work there in Philadelphia as a hustle guy. He's high energy. He can rebound. He can get out and run, so that's fine. But not much more than that. Yeah, sure. Throw Kelly Olynyk in doesn't really make much difference, but I don't know about the Ben Simmons Cade Cunningham connection. Right. I mean, but there's a lot of that with Ben Simmons. Like, it's the same if you put him with CJ McCollum. It's like it's still a bit of a clunky fit because we know just how bad Simmons' shooting is, so he can't sort of relieve any of that pressure. He has to have the ball in his hands all the time. That's the only way he's going to be really, really effective. So, but if you are the Pistons, I think you also make this move because, as we've talked about, this is not a free agent destination. If you can get a young star player, star in quotations, locked up for the next 3.5 seasons, that's what Detroit needs to improve. But until we see Ben Simmons, you just have no idea what you're kind of getting out of him. If he's unhappy with Philadelphia playing with Joel Embiid, how unhappy is he going to be going to Detroit on a team that might only win 20, 25 games? Is that the situation he wants to be in to thrive in? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But we also know that he obviously is adamant that he doesn't want to stay in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, sure, make that deal. If you're the Sixers and you're just like, all right, who cares now? We're not going to get that marquee name back. So let's see if we can get some good 2 or 3 pieces back that could really sort of fit our style of play. Maybe that's all they're prepared to do right now and cut Ben Simmons loose because it's just getting uglier and uglier the longer this drags on.
You keep bringing up this idea like Ben Simmons only wants to play on a winner and have a chance to win a title. I don't buy it at all. I think he wants his own franchise to show Joel Embiid, to show Daryl Morey, to show the Sixers that he can be like an all-star level guy again in this league. And like he thinks in his head, I can make a team like the Pistons into a playoff team. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but I think that's what he thinks. I don't think he's like trying to find a way to like the 73-win Warriors or something like that.
He wanted to go to the Lakers. He wanted Lakers and the Warriors were his 2 teams that he wanted to go to. Why does he want to go there?
Well, I guess if you have he just has no say in it is the real issue.
Yeah. Well, but he's delusional anyway to think that he can figure out a way to get to those 2 good teams. But if I'm Ben Simmons and the phone rings and they say you're on your way to Detroit, I don't think he's like, oh, yes, thank God. I think he's like, oh, my God. What? The Pistons? Okay. So we're going to win 30 games for the next 3 seasons. That's the way I look at it. He wants to go to a glamour team. Rich Paul wants him in a glamour city on a glamour franchise. And Detroit is not that. Same with Indiana. No disrespect to the teams, the players, the staffs there. But I think Ben Simmons you see him on Instagram. He's driving around Ferraris. He's showing off his wealth. He wants to be where it's at.
They love cars in Detroit.
Don't bring a Ferrari to Detroit.
That's true. Yeah. It's just like boo-hoo, like tough shit. Morey's looking obviously for like the best player he can get back. I don't think it's Jeremy Grant, by the way, from the Sixers side of things. Like they drafted this guy. way back in the day. He's good, but he is not moving the needle for me and my chances to win a title. So I disagree with Tass on like, would you want Grant or the possibility of Harden? I think it's far-fetched that, he doesn't sign with the Nets because there's like another $60 million that he has in play once he just opts in and then re-signs another contract or re-signs with them, maybe. But I mean, Grant, he's not going to help their chances to win a title at all. So if like this is what Morey's waiting for, like I don't really.
Well,
buy
I mean,
this, report
it helps the chances in the fact that he would be playing basketball, right? Like, I mean, I think that's a huge advantage right there. They got a 0 right now in Ben Simmons since he's not there. Olynyk would help for spacing as well, and then you have the idea of having draft picks that you can move in the future, which I guess is certainly what they want. But yeah, I mean, I'm taking if you have a chance at Harden, I would much rather have Harden than Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant had an awesome start to last season. He kind of fell off after the All-Star break. Hasn't had a great start to this season. Meanwhile, Harden has struggled, no doubt, to start this year, but he's turning it on, and he has a longer track record of being one of the best.
Yeah, I just have no idea if he re-signs with the Philadelphia 76ers. Who the heck knows what happens there? And I understand that Ben Simmons on the Pistons, doesn't seem like a match. And if you look back at Blake Griffin was the last star that went there, it seems like Blake Griffin fizzled out there, but he went there to try and prove that I am a franchise guy, and he was playing injured, and he was an all-star with the Pistons, and he was trying to put him on his back, and then he got hurt, and then he couldn't do it anymore. I think Ben Simmons would do the same thing. He would try and run the squad, and it would be interesting to see him with 4 shooters. That's what he's always begged for, and that didn't work out with Philly.
But that's the thing. Philadelphia gave him what he needed, and that's the thing. They built the team around him. Joel Embiid talked about that in the offseason. Said, this team was created around his weaknesses or his strengths, depending on which way you look at it.
Oh, they did, for sure. He
doesn't shoot, and we put shooters around him. And that's the thing. If he goes...
There's more shooters, though, now on the 76ers than there was, like, last season. Their shooters that they brought in was Al Horford and Josh Richardson, guys that don't actually shoot. So I don't necessarily agree with Embiid on this one because the team looks like it's built around Embiid right now. And it looks like if you slotted in Embiid for Simmons here with all the shooters the Sixers have now, they would probably be pretty good as well.
Yeah, I mean, they would be because they have got good shooters there. But and back to your points, kids, I agree that Daryl Morey doesn't care where he goes. He wants the best package. But I think right now, I wonder if he's like, well, yeah, I just want someone who's going to play. We've got this guy, sort of earning money. I don't know if they're paying him or not, but it's like we've got a roster slot. We want to fill it with someone who's actually going to get out there on the court. But Ben, the reason I say I don't think Ben Simmons is going to be excited to go to a city like Detroit is we've seen his attitude play out. Yeah. He's a sort of guy who's like, well, if I'm not in the right mood, I'm not going to perform. He hasn't performed in big moments. He hasn't performed. He hasn't improved his game throughout his career. So I'm not sure the motivation is there for him to be like, I'll show everyone how good I am, and I'll do that on the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I think he would approach it that way. And I think what you were saying, Tass, is interesting if from the Pistons' perspective. If this was the framework of a deal like I threw at you there, a Grant, an Olynyk to make the money work, and then, one of their young guys. And they have a lot of them. I don't think Stewart's going to be involved. Trey, you're high on Bay, so maybe it's not him. Maybe it's Leigh, right? Maybe it is Killian Hayes, whatever. The Pistons could go, well, we make this deal, and Ben Simmons balls his ass off, and then we look to trade him. Like that, you can use him. He can be the spot where he builds his trade value back up, because it's not happening in Philadelphia because he's not even playing, and then trade him, flip him for more assets or other players that you want. Like that's a possibility too. Like, look at what has happened with Westbrook before. Look at what happened with many guys where, like, just because you trade for Ben Simmons doesn't mean that he's the building block. He'll be here for 10 years. It could be a year or two, and then suddenly you're flipping him for a bunch of other great players or other great picks and to build then around Cade.
I mean, I don't have that kind of foresight. I can't look years down the road, but I would just say, why can't Ben Simmons come here and if I'm running the Pistons, why can't he come here and be a good player if he's willing to go play basketball? And we've got like 5 guys we're trying to make into stars here. That's all we do. It's become a carousel of Killian Hayes, Saddiq Bey, who's solid, Isaiah Stewart, who is solid. We've got Cade down the line. I mean, it doesn't stop. Why not get a guy who's been an all-star multiple times, still in his prime? I don't see why not. They're still trying to. You guys talked about acquiring Marvin Bagley, give him a shot. They give Dennis Smith Jr. a shot. Give him a shot. Josh Jackson, give him a shot. Why not give this guy who's established a shot? It makes sense to me, and stop this carousel of, yeah, we're all right. As long as he doesn't get in the way of Cade, I get that. But Ben Simmons has shown that he can play off the ball a little bit, that he's not a hog at all times. I think they could work it out.
Yeah, we will see. Again, probably just a juicy rumor. It is coming from Philadelphia there and Keith Pompey.
The rumor also said they didn't want to give up Kelly Olynyk in the trade, which is
it's like,
that's the sticking point.
Yeah, you had us until you said Kelly. We're not giving up Kelly. You know how many Canadians we got on this team? We can't break them up. I would love to see this list, though, and I hope they're in order, because where is Jeremy Grant? If he's on this list of 30 names, I just want to know where he is. I don't mean to shit on him. He is a very solid player, but my gut, Trey, says he's at the lower third, from the 20 to 30 range on Daryl Morey's list.
I started working up a list, Skeets. I got to 39 names pretty easily. And there's quite the range here. James Harden is a multiple-time MVP candidate, a one-time winner, leads the league in scoring, leads the league in assists. And then Jeremy Grant had a nice season last year.
Yeah.
Right? So there's quite the variance here. And I mean, I suppose that's exactly what you have to do, because we've been saying, who would Daryl Morey actually trade Ben Simmons for here? But if there's 39 players out there, that's a lot of chances, at least you have, for maybe swapping this guy at some point. Like, I don't know. Some of these players allegedly could be a year or two removed here.
Right.
And we got to buckle in and wait for it. And I wonder how much of that is Morey's strategy, is like, Could he get a Jaylen Brown, right? Like, can we wait out the Celtics struggling enough that I can get a Jaylen Brown? You just might jeopardize, your one good season of Embiid's health, right? What if you wait out a season, it ends up being the healthiest playoffs you've had for Joel Embiid. Right. You didn't bring in any help for him. So now you've had one of your biggest salary slots is a 0 for the entire season. I don't know. Maybe I'll release my list here pretty soon.
Oh, release the list. Release the list. Yeah, you have to assume that the names on that list, like you're saying, Morey's list, are star players where you could see it turning sour, and that they would then demand a trade, and then there's a possibility to make something happen. Your Lillards, your Beals, your Karl Anthony Towns, maybe. I know it'd be a little bit of a weird mix there with Embiid and him, but it's like probably those type of guys.
That's great. He has a list. Doesn't mean that anyone's trading those guys for Ben Simmons. It's cool you have a list, and I think
Morey's list is called "What about this guy?" Yeah.
I think he's just playing Rich Paul and Ben Simmons when he says, "Yeah, maybe I'll wait a year or two." No way he allows Joel Embiid to sit on the sidelines thinking, "Man, what am I doing this year?" I mean, Joel Embiid would just sit out. Eventually, they'll come up with an injury for him, and he won't play. If this is the team, I'm not saying that Embiid's a quitter by any means, but if he knows that they're not going far this season, I just don't see him trying to gut it out like he did a couple of years ago when Ben Simmons got hurt. I just don't see them wasting a year of Joel Embiid. I don't see it.
I saw a funny comment on Real GM, a funny analogy with the Simmons thing. The 76ers, this is like the 76ers keep throwing rocks at a car on its lot while saying they will sell it for a high price if they hold on for another 2 years. No hurry. And then somebody after that commented, slaps roof. This baby will get you 10 assists per game. First team all defense. So yeah, it's just sitting there depreciating right now. On the There's a lot. I don't know if they're throwing rocks at it. I guess maybe they are smashing some windows on purpose or not accidentally. But yeah, funny analogy there. Way to go, Real GM, random Real GM guy. Okay. Anything else on Simmons, Leigh?
No, thanks.
Yeah,
not for the rest of this season, please.
I know. It went a little longer than I thought.
What'd you write that list on? What'd you write that list on, Trey? Paper? Or,
This is an Excel here because
Excel. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't want to do the counting on my own. So, I got the 39. Gotta say, I added 3 Raptors there at the very end.
Yeah, Siakam in the mix for sure. Who else you got on
30th?
Van Vliet and OG.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Siakam.
Hey, if we're looking at a year or two down the line,
right.
Bad things could happen for a lot of these teams. Like I got Levine on the list. He's not a trade candidate right now, but I don't know if the Bulls somehow struggle. Perhaps that could be a guy that the Sixers want to target. I don't know. I've got Kawhi and Paul George on this list.
Oh, wow.
That's how insane the 39 names could be.
Daryl Morey's list isn't quite so insane now when you think about it. Like, that is
I was gonna say I'd like to get Morey on the show and have him and Trey like compare lists. Like, okay, you say a name. Oh, yeah, I had him. Okay, now you say a name. Okay, let's keep it going.
And you know, Morey put it in an Excel sheet too, so you guys can collab. The 39 names, isn't that Jeremy Grant's old number?
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
Well, let's hear from everybody. I know you guys are chiming in here in the stream team. Let us know in the comments below, especially from the Pistons side of things, because I think people are a little torn on it. Some are like, yeah, you get Ben Simmons if that's the type of deal you're giving up. You go and do that 10 times out of 10. Well, other people are saying, no. Don't love the idea of him alongside Cade. He needs shooters. We don't have that. He could pout like you're saying, Leigh. He's a bit of a diva. He's proven so, from what I've seen here this morning, people are sort of like split on this one from the Pistons side of things, but let us know. Okay. Last night's games, we can touch on a few of these. Steph Curry scores 20 of his 40 in the fourth as the Warriors beat the Cavaliers. Trey, what's your big takeaway? I'm assuming it starts with Steph Curry.
Oh, my goodness. Steph Curry is very, very good at basketball. But this felt like the Warriors kind of challenging themselves. The third quarter explosion has been the deal for the Warriors in these past few games. They beat the Bulls with a third quarter explosion. They beat the Nets with a third quarter explosion. But it did not happen last night. Cavs won the third quarter by 10 points, so Golden State was down 13 heading into the fourth. I was in the middle of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, and I was like, whoa, excuse me? The Warriors are down heading into the fourth? I got to tune in here because either it's going to be the undermanned Cavs are making me look like a total idiot for saying they're going to fall off and that the Warriors are the best team in the league, or the Warriors are going to look like the best team in the league, and it was the latter. The Cavs' lead was gone in 4 minutes. Literally 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. The Warriors scored the first 17 points. Ended up being a 36-8 quarter for the Warriors. 20-8 if you're just counting Steph Curry. Some of the swishiest swishes that you will ever see. You got to check out this video from Thinking Basketball. It explains how Steph Curry generated 33 straight points for the Warriors just by his shooting, obviously, his passing, and just being out there and having the Cavs completely poop in their pants, trying to chase him around the court, leaving a guy like Damian Leigh open. He outscored the Cavs in the fourth quarter, 9-8, because everybody was looking at Steph Curry. Yeah. So it was easy for Damian Leigh to get some wide open shots. Turn the defense up as well. Juan Toscano-Anderson got some minutes for the first time in a while, and his energy was really a game changer for the Warriors. They were playing some incredible defense. It was a big-time flip-switching kind of win for the Dubs. So, yeah. Sorry to Kenya and Cynthia. Had to tune out and see what Steph was doing. Exciting time.
Oh, well, now I got to know. Who else is on it? We got Kyle. We got
Kyle, Cynthia, Kenya, Luann, Ramona.
Oh, classics.
Yeah, there's a lot of classics. Oh, Teresa from New Jersey.
Wow.
This was great. I can't believe how into it I am. I've got my mother-in-law this town, and now I love my mother-in-law. I'm going to have to marry her. Ha, 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 ha. But she was very excited to be watching Ultimate Girls Trip with Laura. So I was like, of course I'll tune in. And this is so good. I don't know who's into the Real Housewives franchises here, but if you've put in a decade of watching to see these flashbacks, it's paying off.
I mean, hold on. It's like basically an all-star game.
It's a Real Housewives all-stars.
That's what it is.
The Turks and Caicos. They live in a villa. And, Ramona's just ruffling feathers even before they land, getting into fights on the private jet.
Incredible.
So
I just saw this being pitched, this idea for the show. It's like, oh my God, that's such a brilliant idea. Is Nene on it?
No Nene leaks.
That's unfortunate. Anyway, back to the game. Tass, any notes outside of Curry just catching fire on your Cleveland Cavaliers there? I mean, I almost felt bad for them. They were just like Okoro got caught on some big picks a couple times. He's like, what do you want me to do? So I need some help getting out on him. He's 3 feet behind the line. But what do you got on this?
Yeah, yes. That 17-0 run to open the fourth quarter, Steph and the helpers. I mean, Steph and four guys from the bench that were chipping in. It was cool to see, obviously. Juan Toscano-Anderson, who is a fan favorite, gets some minutes. He's lost his minutes to Jonathan Kuminga after last year being a big story. But Steph, running some stuff that, what are you going to do? I love the Cavs fight in this game, but to see the Warriors, again, play defensively, and I think all those other guys were really in Otto Porter and Damian Leigh and Toscano Anderson. They're the ones who do the dirty work around Steph. But a couple things about Steph. Defensively, just watch him. He really, really does help the Warriors defense. Mm-hmm. He's a strong defender this year. Now, in this game, he kind of just had to hang out because Isaac Okoro is not that guy. So the Cavs shorthanded, that hurt. But Steph helps out. And he also, showed he's willing to give up his body. He got in front of James Harden a couple nights ago against the Brooklyn Nets, took a charge, and his hip is hurting him. So he might not even play against Detroit tonight because his hip's bugging him. So that just shows the 40 points that he's dropping in his new little rotation. His minutes are different. He comes in and out differently this year. I know he's a man of rhythm, and it's weird for him to not wait until the fourth quarter to come back in. He's coming in twice per half, and that's weird to him. I know, Leigh, you're a regular scheduled man, and it's weird to Steph. He's not vibing with it, but it worked in this one. And if it was back to the old ways, he wouldn't have been on the floor to start that 17-0 run. So maybe they don't win this game, but man, what a show! What a show, this guy.
Mm-hmm. What do you got, Leigh? We know he's a beautiful shooter of the basketball. Anything else to add?
Yeah. This looked like a Warriors home game, though, with that court last night. That's why I think he also caught fire, because it was like, oh, they're in Golden State? No, they're in Cleveland, but it's that yellow floor, that looks Golden State. And also,
it felt like the Christmas Day game.
It did.
Right.
From a couple of years ago. Was that the one where Kyrie hit the game winner, like that tournament?
They played a couple of years in a row, I think.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's what it looked like compared to me. Yeah.
The other thing, this one, I guess, was probably more relevant to the big win over the Nets the other night, but it does apply last night as well. Remember, there's a quote that Del Curry had a few years ago that when Steph was a kid, he was about 10 or 11 years old. He was absolutely torching an opponent so badly that Dell had to leave the arena because he was like, my kid is just like, he shot like 65 points or something like that. He's too good. It's almost like, I almost want to say to him, Steph, you've got to take it easy on these guys. That's kind of what he did last night. It's like, oh, you got a big lead. Let me just take that back, blow you out, and even have some time to garbage time this one at the end of the game there. So Cavs are a bit shorthanded, to be fair. They've been playing fine. But Steph is he's on another level right now. He's just incredibly fun to watch.
Yeah, I think he's on pace to beat his three-pointers made in a season record, right, Leigh? That was the infamous thing where – was that the year where you said he's going to hit over 300 or 350 or something, and then he ended up hitting over 400? And he's like – he is on pace right now to even eclipse that.
Yeah, no one had hit 300 in a year, and I predicted he would hit 315. I think he hit 8 in the first game against the Grizzlies, and I was like – all right, I think I'm in here. And then, he went through a patch that season, though, on top of it all, where he had 10 games and he only hit 25 threes. Because I was tracking it. I was like, man, if I can nail this would be great. And I was like, your
resume?
bragging rights. So for a 10-game stretch, he only made 2.5 a game. And I'm like, this is what I need. But then he just had those games where he was unstoppable. I think he hit, what did he hit? He hit 7, I think, in the last game against the Grizzlies to get the 400. I think he was at 395 and he finished with 7, if I remember.
So he wanted the number to come down to get closer.
Yeah, he wanted it at 315. Exactly.
I was like, well, it's crazy that no one ever in NBA history had hit 300, but a guy had hit 400.
That's insane when you think about it. Yeah.
So
that is wild. I mean, he's going to eclipse Ray Allen here, regular season, all-time three-pointers made in, I don't know, at this pace, a couple weeks, like maybe not even that. Like the guy's hitting like 7, close. 8, 9 threes a game, so it's not going to be that long.
Steph's 33. Like his health is largely very, very good. As a shooter, he's only going to get better. I mean, could he hit 5,000? Probably.
In a season? Seems like a lot. I wouldn't put it past him, though.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, let's say he's at 3,000 because that's about where Ray Allen was. So he needs 2,000. That's 300 a year for 6 more years, give or take a few extra more. Yeah. I think he can hit 5,000.
Oh, Jesus, that sounds insane. Okay, let's get to 3,000 first. Then 4,000 seems in play. But
did you make a prediction in the preseason about a number for Steph or something like that? Because I remember thinking you had like a hilariously high number, and now it probably doesn't sound ridiculous at all.
Well, it wasn't for Steph. It was, I said 10 players would hit 300 or more. Right. That was my prediction. So Lonzo Ball might
have you been tracking?
Not really. I did start off to, but
Really?
I've let it go. But I think someone had a stat out the other day, and it's not that big a deal because it's a completely different game. But Lonzo Ball has already surpassed Larry Bird in 3-pointers made for his career. So I mean, it's that's Larry just didn't shoot them as much as they do now. But when you consider how Lonzo's shooting style was and now is, that's pretty good from Lonzo.
Oh, sure.
Let me throw this in here. So this was going to be tweet of the night, but we had a last second poop come in, so we'll save that for tweet of the night instead.
Squeezed it in there.
Squeezed it out of there. Steph on pace for 464 this season, just as a total number, which would crush his 402. And Kirk Goldsberry kind of put it this way, with the way he is absolutely destroying everybody else in terms of just being the best shooter ever. He's now at 38 games of 9 threes or more. And basically the total of all the rest of the games completed in NBA history doesn't equal to 38, because the next guy is Harden, who has it with 9, and then Dame, Clay, JR, and Kobe down the list. So he is crushing everybody. A great bar graph from Kirk Goldsberry. You can create these in Excel, but I love seeing a bar graph. Just seeing Steph. He's done it a couple times in the last week here. He's just on fire, hitting 9+ threes. It's kind of hard to put into context what he's doing because nobody else is doing it. It's like Shohei Ohtani pitching, hitting. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around, because how do you put it in context? Because we're discussing the best point guards ever, and he's not discussed as the best point guard ever. That goes to Magic Johnson. But if we're looking at it when it's all said and done, and I know they're two entirely different players, entirely different eras. We were just talking about Larry Bird. He's got to be there. He's the best shooter ever, but it's that when you look at these numbers, 39 times, 9+ threes, nobody else even coming close. It's wild. The 10 guys at 300, as you said, Leigh, I mean, that's putting too much stock into other guys. I know the game's changing and maybe they could do it, but it just shows like nobody's getting to those 300 numbers. Harden did it, obviously. Dame did it, but not a lot of guys are doing it. Just shows how great Curry is.
I like that he's finally getting to what we wanted, which is, well, shouldn't he just shoot like 15 3-pointers a game? Shouldn't he shoot 20 3-pointers a game? And he's not quite that high, but he's at a career high 13.5 3-point attempts per game right now. And that is the wild part of all of this. I mean, he's shooting 42%. For Steph Curry, that's actually a little bit below, his shooting capability. So it's just wild to see, just shoot more. And, he adds the depth that he can keep shooting deeper and deeper. It's pretty wild. My final note, we went a little longer on this than I thought we would, but Leigh, you're in England, you're in Manchester, you're hopefully going to a football match. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't played soccer in a long time. When I have the ball and somebody's coming up behind me, what are you on my team supposed to yell? You're supposed to let me know. Man. Right?
Right, yeah.
You never played soccer? I thought
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Well, you're supposed to let me know I got pressure coming from behind. You're supposed to talk. The Cavaliers needed to do that last night in the fourth quarter. How many turnovers did the Warriors get from poking the ball behind the guy? They were trailing. Cavs are going in transition, semi-transition, and it happened, I swear, like 3 or 4 times. The hustle from the Warriors guys, those guys doing the dirty work, like you said, Tass, somebody's got to let them know. We don't do that enough in basketball. Maybe it's like it's happening a little too quick. I'm not sure. It's a little more congested than it is on a soccer pitch.
You didn't yell wolf when there was somebody coming from behind you? That was our call for playing.
We would say man.
Wolf,
I think we just
wolf.
said man too. Yeah. Or,
a lot of people in the stream team are saying man on.
Man on. Okay, that's what I was looking for. I thought Leigh was going to have, set me up with the assist. I thought I was going to head it home, but guess not.
Oh, man, you're on fire with these puns. Let's keep it going.
I fucking know sports. Do I know sports? All right. Another game I wanted to touch on. Rudy Gay. Not this guy. Not this guy. He scored 20 points in his season debut as the Jazz beat the Raptors. I just have a couple of notes. Great to see him back. I think he's legit going to be instrumental in the Jazz's chances to try and win a title. I mean, that's their goal here. They made the playoffs. They want to go deep. They want to win the damn thing. Having him back, that's a nice little wrinkle you can maybe throw out there in a playoff series. He hit 5 threes last night. For those that don't know, he missed all of the Jazz's games this year because he's recovering from an offseason surgery on his right heel. But here he is in 18 minutes, Tass, lightening up the box score. So that's huge. And I don't know if you agree with that. Like, you could see him playing a role in a series like where maybe you do put Rudy Gay as a small ball 5 and try and stretch the floor. Do you think that's a possibility?
Sure. And thanks for informing everybody out there that it was a heel surgery, because I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot that it was a heel. He's had, a couple major surgeries throughout his career. Now he's sitting at 35 and he just wants to be on a championship team. And it's easy to forget how many points this guy has put up in his career. He's been a scorer for a really long time. Although he said to the Utah crowd after hitting 5 of 6 threes in his debut, he said, "Don't get used to that. I don't bang him home like that.
Curry, yeah.
I'm not Stephen Curry." But if he's out there as a small ball 5, he creates space for sure. There's going to be space out there. So yeah, I could see him doing that. That was what they were thinking, right? When Rudy Gobert is, maybe in foul trouble, or they just want a different look if Rudy's not having an incredible night, and he's not able to, go cover the 3-point line, which is tough. It's tough for Rudy to do at all times. Bring in the other Rudy. You got a Rudy on a Rudy.
A Rudy. Utah shot 55% from the field in this game, 48 points in the paint, and they made 19 3-pointers. So I got to know. I mean, where is this long, switchy, incredible Raptors defense that we were promised, that we saw sort of at the start of the year? Because now they're 24th in the league on D. And over the last 2 weeks, Trey, dead last. Now, OG didn't play last night. He's obviously pretty instrumental in that defense, but this is brutal. They're giving up a ton of 3-pointers, a lot of stuff inside still. It's like, we've talked about this before with teams. It's like, all right, it's got to be one or the other. I mean, you can't give up both. A lot of points inside and a lot of points from the 3-point land. But yeah, it's like really weird for a Raptors team to be the worst defense over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure part of it has been having to deal with injuries to Siakam and OG and even Kem Birch. But I mean, if your stopper is Kem Birch, you ain't got a stopper. I know he's better than Aaron Baines, but there's still something to be addressed inside for the Raptors. This is a development season, though, for them. That was crazy to actually hear that coming from Devlin on the broadcast last night, because look at this Raptors team. There's a lot of guys still left over from the championship year, but they're down to 7-9 now. They're not able to win in Toronto, which is pretty weird, and the defense isn't there. When your best player is a rookie and your team isn't doing very good, are you tanking? I don't know. We shall see how it plays out for the rest of the season. I guess the nice thing is that Scotty Barnes has had a good rookie year.
Yeah, but Siakam had his worst game of the year here. 4 points, season low, of course. 2 of 14 shooting. He looked really out of funk in this game as I watched a lot of it. And he's got a lot of Raptors fans freaking out here, Leigh. I'm seeing a lot of like, get him out of here, trade him, give us Buddy Hield, Bagley, and a pick. And I'm like, oh my God, please, let's relax a little bit, because I'm with Trey. We heard Masai Ujiri say it in the first game. He's on the broadcast. They're talking to him. He dropped like the rebuild word, and he said this like development type year, and like, let's slow play this. We're not competing for a title by any means. And then they started strong, and everyone's like, the Raptors are back. But I think this is sort of like, this is why I didn't want to bet on the over-under with them this year. It's like, this could be a case. Oh, yeah. What do you think of Siakam here especially?
It's definitely a concern now. It's been long enough. There's injuries, there's form. Okay, sure. But you just wonder. Remember, after they won the championship, he started the next season on fire. Remember, he was great. And then he got the big extension. He got the massive extension. And it was like, okay, he's earned it. Since then, it's almost like once that ink dried on the contract, it's either injuries, it's a loss of form, it's a loss of confidence. He hasn't been able to hit those game winners. And again, game winners go in and out, but it just feels like he doesn't have that same spark. And I hope he can get it back. I've seen it. He's been great, but we're just reaching that point where it's like maybe that was just a high watermark for him. And he's maybe not as good as we wanted him to be. We fell in love with him. Everyone did, because he was fun to watch, but he hasn't really proven himself to be that untouchable guy in a franchise, I think. And that's the thing. He's fought with the coach. I think he's got a very strong relationship with Masai Ujiri. Otherwise, I think maybe we would have heard a few more trade rumors about him.
Tass, as a Raps fan, what do you think just specifically about Siakam? Do you give it time? He just came back from injury. Okay, he had a dud of a game last night. Let's not freak out about him. Or are you starting to go, yeah, he's starting to prove to you maybe that he's not a franchise guy. He has to be a 2 or a 3, and maybe you're looking to move him or not. What do you think?
I don't think you move him at this point. I don't think you get enough value back for him. And I think you give him a little benefit of the doubt, as Leigh mentioned. He is hot after the 19 championship. Weird stuff has happened the last couple of years. Very weird couple of years. They played in Tampa last year. Maybe they got to go back to Tampa to win some games. As Trey said, they're not winning in Toronto. What's going on? But as far as Pascal Siakam, I have enough leash to not even contemplate it for the rest of the year. He did just come back. And, he was injured, a shoulder surgery. So no, are you trading him, Skeets? I don't see the point, really. And if you got Masai coming in saying this is a developmental year, I think you can look at it both ways. Positive way is he came back and signed a contract to be the Raptors lead in the head office for a rebuilding year, which is great. You don't really think of Masai Ujiri as wanting to do that again, but that's positive. The negative is it's a rebuilding year, and that's okay. The championship heals also. I think you go for it, and you just enjoy the craziness. That's what I'm enjoying, the craziness. I'm enjoying watching Precious Achiuwa do things he shouldn't do on a basketball floor. What are you doing, Precious? But I don't know. I just do enjoy a lot of these dudes, but there's been so much fluctuation in the lineups. To me, I've got a lot of leeway early in the season.
Just to clarify my Siakam thoughts, I don't think if I'm Masai Ujiri, I'm calling teams and presenting, hey, we have Siakam, but I'm definitely picking up the phone if people are calling me and inquiring just to hear what type of deals they're throwing at me. If it's Heel, Bagley, and a pick, then I'm saying, no, thank you. We're good. We'll stick to our development year, and we'll try and get him back playing to the levels he was a couple of years ago. But if there's a hell of a deal offered, I think he explores it. I don't think he's that stubborn by any means or anything like that. Like, he's a smart guy. He's going to hear what the offers are.
He traded DeRozan. Do you think Siakam made anyone's list in the last 48 to 72 hours?
Oh, he's on the list.
Probably. He's on Trey's list, and he's probably on Maury's list. I think so. Okay, let's
who would you trade for Ben Simmons from the Raptors? Fred, OG, or Pascal Siakam?
Just pick one?
Yeah, I'd put them all on my list.
Probably Pascal for me.
Wow.
Like for like, sort of similar position types as well.
I wouldn't trade OG, no way. And Fred down to Fred and Pascal. I'm probably prepared to move off Pascal at the moment myself.
Tass?
That's fair.
If you had to pick of the three?
I'm in the same family as Leigh there. I mean, I'd love to see Ben and Fred do it together in the backcourt. Even though, Pascal's got a higher ceiling, still than Fred. And OG, we're all still high on, still living it up, even though he hasn't shown as much as Pascal Siakam in his career. We're easy to forget Pascal Siakam was a damn all-NBA player. But I guess everyone considers that a flash in the pan. It's a good debate. Those three names should be on there.
Okay, I counter to Daryl Morey. I say, hey, what about Dragic? You guys take Dragic.
He would probably ask for Dragic as well.
Yeah, he probably would.
Yeah.
All right, the other games. Last night, I got to steamroll you guys here because we got to keep going. We're nearly an hour in. Butler had 32 points. He beat the Wizards. Towns, Russell led the Wolves past the Spurs, 115-90. John Morant, big third quarter. Grizzlies beat the Clippers. And Maxey and the 76ers did pick up a much-needed win, snapped a 5-game skid as they beat the Nuggets 103-89. Tass, is there any games there that you wanted to slip in here into the Drop podcast that maybe you watched or you had a takeaway from?
Well, happy that the Wolves won back-to-back games. Talked about it late in yesterday's program, that the Minnesota Timberwolves had a great game against the Clippers last week. They had a great game against the Lakers last week, then had a dud against the Clippers. And they said, maybe we had a little party action. Maybe we had a little fun in LA. Maybe they were Brand Van 3000. Then Anthony Edwards said, we're going to play this a little bit different after their win on Wednesday night. We're going to play some vids instead. We're going to stay home until we get sleepy. We're going to play video games. So I guess that's what they did. Good for them. They played video games and they got back-to-back victories. And now they're a play-in tournament team. I guess.
Yeah, these are good wins. These are the teams they have to beat, as we've talked about. If you're going to get into that play-in, you got to beat the Spurs. Did you see the score of this game? The very rare 21-3 at the beginning. We had the football score. Just don't see that in the NBA all that. It was like tweets going around that they were Spurs are going to have to score some touchdowns and stuff, kicking field goals to get back in the game. It's just weird seeing a score like that in an NBA game, but they held on. Spurs got back into the game, but down the stretch, a little too much Towns and Russell. Of any of those games, Leigh, did you catch anything else, or are you having too much fun over there? You're on a plane last night. Yeah.
Yes, I did, and I coughed up the $12.95 streaming fee for an hour. I thought, I'll see if I can catch up and see what's going on, and I saw some weird stuff, and I thought, hang on a minute, this is not right. The Sixers winning in Denver, kind of blowing the Nuggets out after the way they've been playing lately. And then I saw the Clippers also lose to the Grizzlies. And I'm like, hang on, this is crazy. And then I did see that Spurs game. And I think Popovich, I believe, needs 22 more wins to surpass Lenny Wilkins. Now, he doesn't want to talk about it. You know, Pop's trying to deflect from it. Is he going to get those 22 wins this season? That's the real question. Imagine Pop finishes with 20 more wins. So they finish about 24 and 58 there. Does he come back? Does Pop say, all right, I've got to get it? Or does he just say, that was my season to do it and I couldn't do it, so I finished second? He did have a great quote, though. Someone said, okay, we're not going to talk about the record, but can you talk to us about why you've been successful? And he said, yeah, draft Tim Duncan and stay alive.
That's a good one.
Facts. I like that. Jimmy Butler, like I said, just to give him a little love there, pretty dominant in that victory over the Wizards last night. And, you know, we are now officially a month into the season, and he's still at the table. He's at the MVP table. I mean, Curry's ordering. Jokic is maybe looking at the wine list. He's in control of that. You know, he's going to pair a nice wine with the meal that Curry's going to order for everybody. But then Butler's right there. He's got a prime spot. He's probably wearing a turtleneck like Leigh. Yeah. And, you know, then it's and then it's getting a little more interesting. I would have Durant there. And if we're only doing one more, if we're only saying you can have 5 men at the MVP table, who is that fifth man? Is it still Giannis? Is it possibly even Chris Paul with the Suns record and that 10-game winning streak? You think it's Giannis, Leigh?
Giannis will get there. Maybe right now Paul has a solid case. They've been on a hot streak, but Giannis will be there.
DeRozan, Chris Paul, the fifth spot is interesting.
Okay. I think you'll see a surge from the Bucks very, very soon here and getting back to where we expect them to be.
True.
Jimmy even got up and went to the bathroom, came back, and he still has a seat at the table.
Yeah, that's true.
3 games.
Did you see Butler? Was it from I think it happened on a steal or something like that, where he then ran up to his own bench and posing in front of him. Very funny. He's playing loose. That's when Jimmy's at his best. Okay, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to hit the beach and answer a few of the questions that you guys sent in, so don't go anywhere.
When the Atlanta Braves were in the World Series, I wasn't about to drop $1,000 on a Braves ticket. Not for me, but I saw there was a raffle for some tickets. And the more tickets bought, the more chances to win. So I bought more. And then there was a live raffle. I watched the wheel spin round and round on Facebook. Didn't win, but the money did go to charity. Hank Aaron's charity, Henry Aaron Lewis Fund. Which is just like Omaze, a new sponsor on our show, OMAZE. They do the same, but for even better prizes or experiences. You can win a Tesla, karaoke with Charlize Theron, go to space with Virgin Galactic. You can win a customized Jeep Wrangler. Everyone loves a Jeep, right, Skeets? You were in a Jeep in Arizona. Did Grish end up buying that Jeep like you thought he would?
No, but he's using one of those, car leasing / rental services where you can change your car and stuff like that. And he finally has the Jeep.
Oh, boy.
He only signed up for this service because he saw the Jeep was an option. But then, of course, what happened was it was never available for him to have. So he stuck with this thing for a couple months, and he finally got
there
a
Jeep. There he goes.
So he does have it right now.
Maybe he should jump on Omaze. He can win a Jeep Wrangler. It's the new way to give back to charity and have fun while doing it. Here's how it works. You enter for the chance to win something amazing, and at the same time, you can donate to support great causes. You pick the prize you want to win. It's not just a lottery. It's fun, an easy way for nonprofits to raise money and for you to win big prizes. So go to omaze.com/nodunks Select the Jeep Wrangler or a different experience of your choosing. Once you selected your prize, choose a donation amount from $10 to $150. The more you donate, the more entries you'll get. And through donations, Omaze has raised more than $150 million to support over 350 nonprofits around the world, like St. Jude's Hospital that we've supported on No Dunks. Everyone deserves the chance to live their dreams, and with Omaze, extraordinary prizes are within reach for everyone. Enter today for your chance to win the custom Jeep Wrangler or other life-changing experiences at omaze.com/nodunks. Plus, receive 20 extra entries when you enter code NODUNKS20. That's OMAZE.com/nodunks.
The best way to think about therapy is through a bunch of analogies. We get our cars tuned up to prevent bigger issues down the road. We trim our beards so that we don't get obscene amounts of food in them. We re-spool our fishing reels so that we don't break off when a big one's on the line. Going to therapy is like all of these. It's routine maintenance for your mental and emotional wellness to prevent bigger issues down the road. Going to therapy doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So head to betterhelp.com/nodunks today to get 10% off your first month. That's BETTERHELP.com/nodunks for 10% off your first month. BetterHelp. Why invest in everything else and not your mind?
I've learned a lot from the lessons I've taken on Masterclass, from Steve Martin to Chris Voss to Wayne Gretzky, the great one. But I'll be honest, I'm a little reluctant to commit to an 11-part session. You know, it's kind of daunting. It's like seeing 5 seasons of a TV show. I know Breaking Bad is good, but sorry, it's not going to happen. But now on Masterclass, they have what they're calling daily moments. They're like stories you flip through on IG or Facebook. And those daily moments, they just reeled me in. RuPaul told me he feels comfortable when he performs because he imagines he's stepping into his mother's living room when he takes the stage. It just feels comfy. Ron Finley told me I'm a green thumb whether I think it or not, because I'm a plant. And I take care of myself, so you can take care of plants too. He also told me I can use a suitcase as a pot. That's pretty cool, Ron. You got me, man. And Martin Scorsese told me making a film is all about trust. Done. Easy. Don't have to watch his masterclass. But there are all sorts of short clips on the site which really complement the full lessons from the greats. This holiday, give 1 annual membership and get 1 free. That is a great deal. Go to masterclass.com/basketball today. That's masterclass.com/basketball. Give 1, get 1. Terms apply.
All right, back with No Dunks here. Drop podcast on a Friday. Thought it'd be fun if we hit the beach. Let's do it. Yeah, a little beach step in. Thanks to everybody that continues to send in your questions. Keep them coming by way of email, nodunks@theathletic.com. You can tweet them in at nodunks_inc, INC, or drop them in the YouTube comments below the vid. First one here, Tass teased this email on a show earlier this week. He'd been thinking about it for days, so let's get to it. With the Warriors 12-2, now improved to 13-2, I guess they are. And Andrew Wiggins off to a good start. I have fallen victim to buying a timeshare on Wiggins Island. Oh, nice. This also had me do some research. Wiggins is only 26 years old and at about 10,500 points. If he continues at a pace of, let's say, 17 per game for the next 7 to 8 years, he could pass 20,000 points. That led me to this very obscure NBA prediction that probably no one will care about. But I believe Wiggins will be the only player in NBA history to pass 20,000 points with no all-star appearances. I just want to know your thoughts. Still listening all the way from Taiwan. That is from Randall. So there you go, Tass. This one's been bouncing around your old noggin for a couple of days here. What's your take on it?
Randall, Other people care about this, my man. I do. I'm desperate to see Andrew Wiggins hit 20,000 points with 0 All-Star appearances. I think it's going to happen. Andrew Wiggins, 20,000 points. It's a lot of points because I've always thought of 20,000 as such an incredible benchmark when it comes to a basketball player. I think we all have, because everyone who hits that basically makes the Hall of Fame. 52 guys have done it. 48 are either in the Hall or will get in. IMO. Guys that are bound to get in. A few probably won't get in, but every player who has reached 20,000 points has made an All-Star game or multiple All-Star games, actually. So Wiggins will be the first, I think. A big reason, he plays essentially every game. I know people make fun of him, but that guy is an Iron Man. First 4 years of his career, he missed a total of 1 game. 3 of those 4 years played every game. Following year, he missed 9. It was a terrible year for him. Next year, he got traded. He did miss 9. Then last year, he missed 1. So 20 games he's missed in 8 years. So 2.5 per year. I think he's found this new life as a secondary scorer, and I think he's getting comfy in it. He's 26 freaking years old, and so he's well past halfway there. He'll be at 11,000 at the end of this year, and it helps that he was a number 1 scorer for Minnesota for a long time. That's why no one else has done this. No one else has accomplished this. He was only a 1-year college player. I think he will be the first. I think he's going to be the first to sneak in. Now, it's a bit of a different era now, more points, I guess, on the board, more threes. So maybe there'll be somebody else who squeaks in. Jamal Crawford didn't get there. Jason Terry didn't get there. Eddie Johnson didn't get there.
What about this name? And it's funny timing because he had a great game last night. He came back. I see the stream team pointing it out. I was talking to you, Tass, this morning in Slack. What about Rudy Gay? He literally was on the record last night saying, I'm no slouch. I'm zeroing in on 20,000 points. He's never made an All-Star game. He's never going to. He could beat Wiggins to this, which is interesting. I don't want to hurt Randall's feelings here, but he could get there before. I mean, he's like 3,000 points is the issue. Can he get to 3K? Can he play he'd probably have to play 3, 4, 5 years. I would sort of think. So maybe that'll be the tough part. Maybe that's what you think.
Yeah, I don't think so. I did see that. I was in bed and I read that in the recap, and I was excited because I was already on this Wiggins tip. Then I saw you tweeted it, Skeets, and I got even more excited. Is Rudy Gay thinking about that while he's recovering? Can I get to 20K? Can I get to because
I've never made an All-Star game. I can be the first.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he talked about it. His first game back.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell, you guys? I mean, he is, I guess, sort of a forgotten scorer in this league. Scored 20 for a long time, but I don't think he gets there because, he hasn't put up 1,000 points in a season for a long time. That's what he'd have to do for a few years. He hasn't done that since 2016. While Andrew Wiggins is popping 1,400 a year, so I think he could get there by Rudy Gay's current age, like 35, 9 years, he could get there because he's only 26, but Rudy's maybe just a little too long in the tooth. The thing is, the injuries, really. Guys could do it, but Rudy Gay got injured. And Andrew Wiggins is a freaking Iron Man. It's baffling to me to see a guy in Wiggins who could get 20K. I think he's going to be the first, but I appreciate the messages.
What about this? I mean, this is sort of fascinating. There's no way Wiggins makes an All-Star game, is there? I mean, he's on a good team right now. If Kyle Korver could be in an All-Star game, could Wiggins, could the Warriors get 3? I mean, it would be Curry, no doubt. Draymond would be next. I still think he would get a selection if they have 5 wins at the All-Star break. Maybe not even that many, or that few, I should say. Any chance that a third guy, they're just they're running away with the league. We got to get a third guy in there. Probably not, right, Trey?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I would have to go back and look at Kyle Korver's all-star teammates, but I think the Western Conference probably has a lot more talent in it now than it did when the Hawks sent 4 to the All-Star game. I don't think it's likely, but I also didn't necessarily think that Andrew Wiggins was Rudy Gay, and apparently he is. So.
Kyle was a replacement too. I think that's how they got the 4th, if I remember. So maybe Andrew Wiggins could get the your team's best record in the league bump if 2 guys pull out through an injury, maybe. But it'd be a bit generous, I think, of the league to give that to him. But Rudy Gay, he's 35. He would basically need 4 seasons still of at least 700 points.
Yeah,
don't think he's going to get there.
It's not that crazy. I mean, he could do it. He could.
If he went for it, if he gunned for it, yes. But just playing the role that he's playing
Yeah.
for 4 more seasons? I don't think so. Sorry, Rudy. I think you're going to come up a little bit short. But would that make Andrew Wiggins then the best player to not make an All-Star team? Now that Mike Conley's...
Now that Conley's got one?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the same family of guys there, like Jamal Crawford, Jason Terry,
Right.
Rod Strickland.
Rod
Yep.
Strickland's always brought up. Derek Harper.
He'll
about
be in the mix for sure. His name
Yeah.
will always be included, I think, when you're making those lists. Yeah. All right. I'm glad we got to it. What's our next one here, Ty?
I loved Goran Dragic on the Heat. Me too. He was my guy. Solid player, surprisingly skillful, over-passionate, all the things I love. Over-passionate. When the rumors started that he'd be traded for Lowry, I understood why, but wanted Dragic to stay somehow. He was obviously traded in the end, and I swore that the Heat would miss him, and I thought I would have a dragon-sized hole in my heart. But 2 weeks into having Lowry on the Heat, even wearing Goran's number 7, and I've gotten over Goran pretty quick. Have you ever thought you'd miss a player only to find you didn't? TULYGA. That's from Hayden. Leigh, are you getting over a player that you thought you would miss?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't emotionally attached to this player, but the Lakers, when they won their first Shaq-Kobe championship, had Glenn Rice as their 3rd leading scorer. I thought, great, veteran. He can really be just basically sit in the corner and knock down threes. And then he had a big fight apparently with Phil Jackson and Jerry West, and they traded him. And I thought, I thought winning solves everything. I think you might miss Glenn Rice there. Turns out they didn't really miss him at all. They won another 2 championships. So I was wrong about that. Derek Fisher kind of got a few extra shots and a bit of a bump in scoring there. But I remember seeing the Lakers win and thought Glenn Rice is a really nice piece, 3rd wheel to have on that team, and was surprised they didn't keep him after that. But turns out they got it right. So well done, Jerry and Phil.
Well done. I want to bring up this question because it was a typo, but it's too good to not ask. Does Leigh have a favorite treat?
Favorite treat.
Al meant team, but do you have a favorite treat, Leigh?
Well, now that I'm back in the UK, I'm definitely going to have some banoffee pie, maybe even in with it about an hour or 2 from now.
Wow.
Yeah, Uncle Trick and Big Matt are out looking for a nice little place to have dinner and a few drinks tonight. So,
oh boy,
it'll be on the gram. It'll be on the gram if I get some banoffee pie.
Okay, good. I saw that you already posted one photo of you standing in front of some sign, I think. Yeah.
Listen, I'm out of the Instagram game these days, and I was like, I've got to blast something, but I didn't really know what to blast. So I said, just take a photo of me in front of the MCR sign. That'll do, or MAN. I don't even know what it says there. I'm like, I've got to do something. So I'm going to have to up the game a bit. Hopefully I get a few good ones at Anfield tomorrow for Liverpool Arsenal, if we get tickets.
Take a photo of you standing outside the arena searching for tickets. Okay. Does anybody else have an answer to this? TK, you got one?
When Ronald Acuna went out for the Braves, I thought it was going to be the end of the season. They were 44 and 44. The guy's the best player in the league. Can't lose him and win the World Series. That sounds ridiculous. Unless you're Alex Anthopoulos and you bring in Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall, and Jorge Soler to come in and mash dingers for the entirety of October. Seemed like the season was over, but you never know how it turns in the postseason.
This is a good one here in the stream team. Someone that was probably a Warriors fan. My favorite player, David Lee, when he was on Golden State. And then Draymond came in, sort of balled out, and was pretty crucial to the future. Yeah, and then winning a lot of titles. That's good one. I guess similar for me, Taz. I don't know about you. Trading DeRozan, a staple in Toronto. You're like, oh, well, that's sort of now it's a little different because I think we had all agreed, like, okay, Lowry and DeRozan, it's just not going to work. They're not going to be able to, ultimately win a title. Though LeBron leaves too, perfect timing, and then of course they go on to win after trading DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. So that would be my answer, but it's a little different.
That's a great one. I kind of had the hots for Eric Bledsoe forever. Yeah, I just thought that Eric Bledsoe, just watching his play, so unique, I just assumed he'd be a great player. And so when Phoenix had him and Goran Dragic, then Isaiah Thomas came around. They had the Guardians of the Galaxy between the three of them, and then Bledsoe apparently was in hair salon, and he didn't want to be there anymore. So he tweeted whatever happened there. He was the worst of the year winner. And he left. I just, I felt like they would miss him, but didn't really happen. I mean, they figured it out after a while. And Eric Bledsoe, yeah, I was wrong. I thought he'd be great. Him and Dragic, I thought would be phenomenal in the Western Conference, but it didn't work out.
All right, one more question here. Having fun on the beach. Hey guys. Every time an unsportsmanlike event happens in the NBA, people talk about the, quote, respect for the game. When Jokic was thrown out, the Miami Heat had to choose a Nuggets player to shoot the free throws for the flagrant foul. They chose Bull. He didn't look happy about it. He probably felt disrespected. But the fact he missed both shots doesn't help. Is this a disrespectful rule? Or, the counter, if Spoelstra chooses a starter, even if it was the worst free throw shooter out there, would he be disrespecting the game by not taking advantage of the rule? Wow, really makes you think. Keep up the good work. That's from Fernanda. So Trey, what do you think of this dilemma here? It does come up a lot. Got to respect the game. Respect the game. Is this respecting the game when you pick the worst free throw shooter to shoot them if the guy can't do it?
This is a tough question to answer. I do think that you are respecting the game by picking the absolute worst free throw shooter, and that free throw shooter should come off the bench. I mean, surely there are times, like it actually happened last night, another sort of weird, disrespectful thing. Taco Fall came in for like the last 0.9 seconds. They threw him a lob right at the rim, but he got fouled, so he had to go to the free throw line and shoot free throws. And that's the guy you want shooting free throws if you're the Warriors. That was a crazy looking form there.
Yeah.
But you have to pick a guy off the bench because it adds to the drama, right? Just like Fernanda's saying, Bull didn't look happy. And that's kind of what it looks like when you pick that guy number 15 off the bench and they're like, oh, what? It takes them forever to get their clothes off.
Yeah,
they got to go to the scorer's table. They got to check in. They got to come to the free throw line. They got to check in with everybody. All right, here's what we're doing on defense because we're going to have to foul right away afterwards. There's a lot of built-in tension there. And it gives that free throw shooter a chance to be the hero because it's like, we were not expecting this guy to come into the game at all. Suddenly he has to make 2 clutch free throws. So, yeah, I think it's disrespecting the game if you pick a starter because it doesn't give the opponent a chance to be a hero in the situation they don't want. But it is a coach's wet dream to take a terrible shooter and be like, you have to shoot that shot, and you don't want to. So it's a hilarious rule for sure.
Maybe it's just disrespecting the game, Leigh. I'm sure you would agree. Not being able to shoot free throws at a decent clip.
I was just going to say, Bol's been complaining about not getting enough minutes and opportunities. Here's 2 free points. The other team's just saying, shoot him. Go out and knock him in, man. Don't complain about it. Now, he wasn't complaining himself, but you don't be miserable about it. It's the same with Bagley. I know Bagley's had a rough time in Sacramento. When the coach says, come and play, go out and play then and prove him wrong. So, if you're knocking free throws, then no one can embarrass you. So just practice your free throws.
Practice your free throws, kids. Yeah, there it is. Anything to add, Task, to Fernanda's email here?
It was a dilemma of an email, but I needed to include it because there's so many parts to it. Yeah, the guy, if you're 15th on the bench, the 15th guy, it's like double-edged sword. Yeah, I get to play. Right. This is pretty cool. I get to hit a couple free throws, but also this is why I get to play. I mean, just for 2 lousy free throws, it's tough, but you got to bang them home. It's a crazy rule when you think about it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's like
should be a guy on the floor, I kind of think, but
it's almost like you wish they did it in other sports where you're like, you get to pick a field goal kicker and stuff like that. You're like, hey, you try. Your best effort.
See that leg.
Speaking of free throws, were any of you watching the Cavs broadcast, probably on League Pass 2, where it doesn't go to commercial break and like you get the in-arena cameras? Because they had a free throw battle or like little contest, which a lot of these places do. The guy had to roll like 2 giant dice. So he rolls them, they bounce around, and whatever the number is, he has to hit that many free throws in, I think it's 45 seconds. Leigh, you would have loved this. I should have clipped it. He rolls a 1 and then he rolls a 2. So he's only have to hit 3. Like, it's like, you can't do much better in terms of rolling the dice. They step to the line. The guy's like, all right, we'll start the clock. You got to hit 3 in 45 seconds. Let's go. This guy, boom, boom, boom. He hits 3, but the person running the game's like, Keep going. Let's see. The guy was like
disrespectful.
It was so he had already won, but he was such in the zone. He was like Leigh Ellis at the line. He was just like a robot, and he hit a lot, and then he really went cold. But the clock was still going, and I think the guy running the game was like, what do I do now? I just say, all right, that's enough, or do I just play out the clock? He ultimately said, let's just play out the clock, and then the guy caught fire again, which was really fun. But the guy splashed. I didn't keep track, but it must have been like 12 free throws in 45 seconds.
I would have kept shooting though as well. Once you knock in a few, you're just like, I'd say, come, just keep throwing the ball to me until they say, get off, you've played already. That's what you do. If you get a chance, you just keep on shooting. Those in-game activities though are pretty fun because you do see some dudes who are like, right, I know I'm money when I'm out there. And you see some others who is just like,
I was watching another game 2 nights ago, I think it was, and this guy, he must have airballed like 9 straight free throws. And you start feeling bad for him. You're like, oh man.
I was with someone, I think, at the Fortress where the guy went up maybe the half court shot and he missed it, like one of us at Vegas.
Yeah.
And he did the turnaround to the crowd where he was like, that was awesome. It was so weird. Maybe I was by myself, but it was. He brought the entertainment anyway. He didn't care if he didn't make the shot.
I do think it's an interesting question, Leigh, especially you. If you got chosen to do this, 45 seconds. Let's say you got to hit 6. Do you rush your free throw routine because you want to get more attempts up, or do you take your time and do whatever you do? I can't remember if you're a 1 dribble, 2 dribble man, spin it up or whatever. That is the it's like, do you stick with what you know? But you're only going to get X amount of shots up, or do you rush it and get way more shots up and help your chances?
I think you try to accomplish the goal first. So if it's 6, you're like, all right, I've got 6. I don't need to rush through these 6. Just knock them in. And then if you've knocked in 6 and you've got 10 seconds to go, then you just start firing away because it's house money at that point.
Well, yeah. But what if you do your routine, you miss your first 2, then you're going to start panicking. Now you're like, oh God, I got to get more shots up here, right?
Honestly, I don't think I'd panic because I know it'd be like, no, I mean, I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm just saying you'd either be too long or too short or to the side. And you're like, it's a simple correction. Then you're like, okay, now I've locked in. So it honestly, after 2 shots, you kind of know where the radar is and you just have to correct it. And then you feel confident that you can start knocking in a few.
All right. We should talk to somebody with the Hawks. I don't know if they do the free throw challenge during a timeout, but I'd love to see Leigh have a go. Especially, I'd love to see you fail so we could tell you to practice your free throws. It'd be amazing.
Well, remember that media game? I mean, sure, I hit the game championship winner, but I had 1 free throw and I missed it. I'm so glad I actually saved my night that night by having people talk about the championship winner because I was like, of all the people to get 1 free throw worth 2 points in that game, and I clunked it. It still is out there somewhere. It is on his line somewhere. That game still exists. So, yeah.
Track it down, stream team. The true greats, man. It's the losses that stick with them. Anybody can hit the game-winning championship, but missing a 2-point free throw lives with you.
Tough. All right, guys, keep your questions coming. Email them in nodunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in @nodunksink or leave them in the YouTube comments. Going to take one more break. When we come back, fun tweet of the night, pick 'em results, and rapid fire fun.
Hot sleep.
Danielle and I are always discussing the temperature when we go to bed. I want it cool. She wants it warm. I'm obviously second in command in my house, so she usually wins out. And that's why I was excited to receive my Helix Sleep Mattress. Helix mattresses have specialized cooling technology to balance out arguments like the one I have nightly. I took a Helix sleep quiz that took just 2 minutes to match my sleep preferences with my new bed. I like a medium firmness and I sleep on my back and my side, so I was set up with the Midnight Luxe. It was quick and fun to unbox. Delivery and setting up was fast and easy. It's soft, but still really supportive. So if you're looking for a mattress, take the quiz. You order it, comes to your door. You don't ever need to go to a mattress store. Helix has all sorts of awards that it's won. Over 1 billion hours have been slept on Helix mattresses. I love that fact. Over 1 billion hours. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. So go to helix.com/nodunks. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/nodunks.
Guys, Nora and I have had a little back and forth going about whether or not we should put our Christmas decorations up now.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's mid-November. I am against it, Leigh. I'm at least like, it's got to be December 1st. I think we have to wait to December. She's like, why? Why do we have to wait? Let's get in the spirit. Let's get those lights up outside. Let's get the tree up.
Does she know it's nutmeg season and not nog season?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess not. So, like, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why are we waiting? But on the other hand, it just feels wrong. We haven't even had Thanksgiving here. I was like, at least let us have Thanksgiving. At least let us eat some turkey. And then maybe we can put some lights up. But we all know how stressful not only putting decorations up can be, but searching for, like, the perfect gift for friends and family around the holidays can be. Oh my goodness, it stresses me out. But there's one thing everyone loves, a good hoodie. So the classic full zip hoodie from American Giant is the perfect holiday gift for anyone, including yourself. You ever do that, Leigh? You ever buy yourself a gift around the holidays? You do? Good for you.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I like this hoodie. It's heavyweight cotton. It's soft. It's very comfortable. It's what a hoodie should be. Details, ribbed cuffs, double reinforced elbow pads, double lined hood. Couldn't tear this thing if you wanted to.
Skeets is just throwing bows like crazy, man.
Oh, yeah. I went with the black amber color. Interestingly named color. I think it's more of a maroon. Maybe it just sounds cooler calling it black amber. It's more of a red, like a maroon to me, but I love it. Stylish without looking slouchy. And when you buy from American Giant, you can feel good in your clothes and feel great about supporting local manufacturers, workers, and communities from material sourcing to manufacturing. Everything done locally right here in the U.S. So explore American Giant's collection of durable essentials at american-giant.com. You can get 20% off when you use the code NODUNKS at checkout. That's 20% off at american-giant.com. Again, the promo code is NODUNKS. Go get yourself a hoodie for the holiday season, or at least buy some gifts for your friend. I'm going to buy all of you guys an American Giant hoodie. All right? Leigh? Double.
Thank you.
With the elbow pads really nice and tight. Okay, good. Good. I'm going to use that discount. Back with the No Dunks Drop podcast. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Well, it was an infamous moment, NBA Finals, Game 1, 2008. Paul Pierce left the floor on a wheelchair. He was holding his knee. Looked like he really injured himself. And then he came back. It was less than 2 minutes that he missed of actual game time. And then the YouTube videos started flowing. And they were wondering, why the hell did he leave the floor for just 2 minutes? Somebody zoomed in on his shorts. There was a dark stain. Was it a stain at all? Well, people speculated. It was fecal matter. It was poop. And then Paul Pierce couldn't live it down. So when he was on What Did I Miss with Michelle Beadle on the Athletics podcast this week, Michelle asked him about it. Paul defended himself. Come on. If you poop your pants, does it make sense to sit down and mush it in a wheelchair? You don't sit down on your poop, right? That's Paul's defense. How dare you think that I left the floor because I pooped my pants? Because it doesn't make sense. There's no logic. I wouldn't sit on poop. Which, as the dads know here, I mean, you don't want your kid to sit on poop.
Doesn't make sense.
You know what? I also don't want.
Doesn't
I don't
make
want.
sense.
If I'm on national television, I also don't want poop coming down my leg. That's my counter.
Would
So,
you prefer
sit on
pierced?
it. What's that?
Would you prefer he pierced his pants?
I guess so.
But with using the kids analogy though, Tass, you also don't like it when they lie when they've clearly pooped their pants. Paul Pierce. He may as well at this point, if he wants people to stop talking about it, just say, "Yeah, okay, I pooped my pants. I pooped my pants. I won a championship and finals MVP."
Yeah.
Name me one other person who's done that.
Yeah.
One other person.
That's right. Lean into the poop.
You must lean into the poop.
But I got to disagree. I think you do want your kid lying to you because that means they know the difference between a lie and the truth. That means they think it. They got a brain. But I don't know. What's your guys' take?
Well, I have a couple thoughts. A couple thoughts. One, Beetle coming in hot here with the new podcast. I got to be honest. I even told you guys. I know Paul Pierce is going on our podcast because they're good friends, having worked on NBA Countdown. Didn't think it was going to be in week 1, show 2, I think this was. Beetle, think next level thinking in the podcast game. You know, you start with the bangers. So get this quote. I mean, the numbers, I assume, through the roof. Hopefully she's number 2 on the charts after this. Hey, hi-ho. So that's great. 2, again. It's amazing when you think about it. Paul Pierce was just named to the NBA's all-time greatest 75 players list. He has the accolades. He has the title, the Finals MVP. And we talk about this incident 100 times more than his career. Amazing. So I think I'm sort of with you, Leigh. If anything, if he really wants to get this narrative to go away, he almost has to say he did shit himself.
He did. He did say that. He said it on ESPN at some point. I think to Michelle Beadle. So you just have to imagine that anytime they're together, she's just checking in to see if he really pooped his pants or not. Even if he didn't, it's clear that Paul Pierce, a top 76 NBA player of all time, thinks about pooping his pants a lot. So even if he didn't do it, it's pretty funny that he's still talking about it. But I don't know. I think there's an opportunity for Beadle to have a spin-off podcast where she asks athletes the last time they had a bathroom malfunction and called it, "What did I piss?"
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I mean, people were saying on Twitter, tweeting at me because I was loving this quote and the graphic from The Athletic and all that. Somebody said this could be right out of a Succession episode, and then you could read it as Tom or Greg, and it's perfect in so many ways. Especially the "you don't sit down on your poop," right? As a question mark.
Right?
It's great. And then, people are saying, this guy is denying it so many times that he probably did it. Very funny. Yeah. Very funny.
It's so confusing. Yeah. Cause I am going through the history of Poopgate here. I'm deep in Poopgate. And as Trey said, 2019, Michelle Beadle did ask him on air, and it seemed like Pierce said, yeah, just to end the conversation.
Right.
Just to finish it off. But then he took to Twitter and he said, sorry to bust y'all haters' bubble, but the only pooping I did June 5th, 2008 was on the Lakers. #fact. So I don't know.
It's a good line too.
That is a good line. Yeah. The only shit I took was on the Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah. Good quote here from what's his name? Ignatius Rupertus. I'm going to have Paul Pierce on for poop and packs. We'll do it on the can when we do it.
You're both sitting down into your
and I'll say, what was this guy like to go against? And he goes, he was shit.
No, it's perfect. We should be doing all pop and packs in bathroom stalls because you're always you don't want us to see the card.
Oh yeah.
So you're looking, and then you can pass it under and stuff like that. Okay. And then when you check this card, instead of ripping it up and eating it, you use it to wipe your ass. Yeah, this is all right. Wow, great last second tweet of the night there from The Athletic by way of Michelle Beadle and Paul Pierce. I'm gonna have to fire this one up and listen to this. I got to hear it in his own words. Yeah, I got to hear how he says it. You just read the text. You're applying your own opinion to it. I want to hear it in his own words. Great stuff. Okay. Pick'em results from last night brought to you by BetMGM. We had the Wizards Heat game. Miami was favored by 7.5. I swerved. I told you yesterday I wasn't all that in love with the Wizards pick. I didn't know Dinwiddie was not playing. I really should have probably done a little more research on that, keeping him out of a back-to-back situation there. So he did not play. That hurt their chances. And the Heat sort of crushed them in the end, got the victory. TAS is at 11-3 here in November. Leigh goes to 9-5. And then the battle here for last place, Trey goes to 7-7, and I fall to 6-8. So I'm a game behind TK in the standings. What's our game tonight, Tess?
A big slate tonight and a big game. Historical battle. The Lakers visit the Boston Celtics.
Oh, Paul Pierce poop game.
You know it. The Celtics are favored by 2.5 points. LeBron has been upgraded to questionable for the first time in 2.5 weeks. LeBron may play. So that's got to factor into our decisions. Let's see who we took. I was comfortable taking the Boston Celtics, as was Skeets, despite LeBron's status. Trey and Leigh jumping on the Lakers bandwagon.
Yeah. Well, remember when it was Paul Pierce jersey retirement? What happened that night? LeBron pooped on that night. LeBron back in Boston. Is he going to poop on the Celtics again tonight?
Should be another classic night in the Sharton. Thanks, Leigh.
All right,
the TP Sharton.
Nice.
That's better. That's better. Okay, we're almost done here. Let's end this drop podcast with a little rapid fire fun. JD, you got the questions this week. Let's get to it.
Yeah, so this first one comes from Andrew in the Czech Republic, who writes, at the beginning of this season, I thought it would be great to start writing down the funny moments from each episode, and then create a compilation for you. I wanted all these top 5 Mike and facts or top 5 Gregs to live on. I have been keeping track of these moments for the last month, and then I saw a best of October video on your YouTube page. Shout out to Sergio Collado for that one. Thanks, Sergio. He put that together for us. But anyways, Andrew asks, when have you started something and spent considerable time on it only to find out it was pointless? Trey.
To keep marigolds looking good, you have to deadhead them. So like when the blooms go, you got to pull them out, and you can hang on to those because you can replant them because they got seeds, and you can use the color from the petals like as a dye. So I collected these for like almost a year, probably. Just like anytime I would deadhead them, throw them into a jar, hang on to them later. Then I was like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to harvest my own dye. I'm going to tie dye my own shirt with dye that I grew. Then I looked up the ratios of how many marigolds you needed. I needed like 20 times more marigolds. I was like, okay, well, this is stupid. I guess I'll just buy dye like every other person out there. So yeah, you need a lot of marigolds to actually use it for fabric.
Wow,
good one.
Crazy that it's deadheading it to tie dye. Most probably a deadhead t-shirt.
Exactly. It was perfect. I thought it was going to be an ideal situation, but should have planted a bit more, I guess.
You just blew my mind. Skeets.
Yeah, I got a weird answer to this one. One of the first NFTs I got into was All-Star Freaks, which is the best way to explain it is like a digital collectible card of athletes and personalities. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I started like an Excel sheet tracking all of them, and like they were coming out like 1 or 2 at a time, so it was sort of easy at first. But I don't know why I was doing it. I think I was like just wanted to like keep track of all the players and stuff like that. I put like hours of like bookkeeping into this to suddenly realize, why am I doing this? And then, they're already doing this, like right. All-Star Freaks themselves. Like I thought I was maybe doing something for the community, and it was like turned out like 2 or 3 other people had already done it and were doing it better than I was. It was a real like that was a good 3, 4, 5 hours wasted, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Always count on the internet, right?
That's right. Somebody else is always, that's a life lesson. Somebody else is always doing it.
That's right, okay? Andrew.
So, yeah, exactly. Like I should have typed into YouTube, how many marigolds does it take to tie dye a shirt? And there would be like 1,000 videos with millions of views there. Somebody's always thought of something.
Crazy. Tassie.
Well, here comes the cool guy talking about recycling again, because I do a lot of recycling around my house, and I will follow the rules and clean out all of the food from a plastic container, all the sediment, get it out of there, get it out of a jar. I'll peel the labels off of packaging. I'll take staples out of bags. I will go the extra mile. Danielle will ask me, why are you doing that? And I say, well, I'm doing it properly. But I've heard recycling experts say people who don't do it properly, who throw in stuff that shouldn't be recycled, it actually ruins the entire batch. Your entire shipment that's in a truck goes to waste because somebody didn't recycle something properly.
Yeah.
And I just find that so hard to believe. So sometimes I think, why am I doing this? If the guy next door is throwing in his K-Cup capsules that can't be recycled, if that entire packaging or in that entire dump truck of stuff is wasted, it could be a waste of time. It's just such a complicated thing to me.
The whole truck, the whole.
Yeah,
truck.
there's so many questions about recycling that they need to do a better job of clarifying. Because I've heard that too, Tass. I've also heard here in Atlanta that it's like a waste of your time to actually recycle because they do it. Like
they pick and sort.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're doing, the extra level, is like it's not needed because there's people that are paid to do that. But I'm like, I don't know if any of this is true. So,
but I do think it is different from region to region or like area to area.
Yeah.
I just love it though. I love it. I love picking off labels.
Keep doing it, man.
It's hard. It's hard to get those labels off.
I love a cool guy talking about recycling on a podcast. It's always good.
Cool recycling dad.
It's honestly not a No Dunks podcast, especially a drop podcast, and unless there's a little recycling talk.
You're right. You're right. Okay, next one. After a couple of down years, the Warriors could be beginning their second dynasty. What's something you used to dominate, but are now set to make a mighty return in? Trey.
I would love to play wiffle ball again because I would say probably 5 nights out of 7 per week, I fall asleep dreaming of throwing wiffle ball pitches. Like I can map out exactly how I would pitch a pitcher. A battle. Like my first, I'm going for an outside fastball on the outside corner. Then I'm going for a changeup on the outside corner. Then I'm throwing a slider outside to get you to chase on 0-2, looking like a straight up fool. Are you kidding me? I haven't played wiffle ball in like probably 15 years at this point, but man, I just love to twirl that plastic.
Well, your girls must be ready to get out there with the bat and take some pitches from dad.
Yeah,
he wants to throw
the heat though. Yeah, I want to throw like a 70-mile-an-hour wiffle ball. I want my arm to be hurting here. I used to be a super nerd, and I would just go out in the driveway and pitch a wiffle ball against the garage door. Just throwing it against the garage door as like a 15 and 16-year-old. I could have been like practicing how to throw an actual baseball. But no, I just wanted to be ready. It finally paid off in college. We won our intramural championship, but I retired then. And now it's kind of like, I don't know. I just haven't put any effort into finding a wiffle ball league, but that would be fun.
Awesome. Skates.
I was throwing a ball against a garage the other day as a 40-year-old man. I was doing that.
There we go.
That's always fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever need a child to throw a ball at, I'll send my kid over for you guys. He can hit.
My answer to this, it's a stretch to use the word dominate because I was not doing that, but I'm set to make my mighty return to running a marathon. Getting ready. I talked about this with Paul Flannery actually in his running newsletter, but I sort of lost the running love there for a little bit. Yeah, was it the pandemic? Was it getting a house? Was it getting a dog? Was it just sort of like losing the desire because there was no races? I sort of need that as a goal. Probably all of the above, but getting back out there, starting to put the miles back in, doing some long runs with my buddy Jared, and we're circling a marathon in Washington State. We might go and run in the summer. It might be during the NBA Finals, which is going to be a little bit of an issue. But, yeah, we might go run that and hopefully get us back to Boston at one point. Well, he's actually running Boston in April, but I won't be running it this year. But 2023, I hope to be back in Boston. So that's my answer. Damn. Not dominating. Again, that's what you asked, but a mighty return. Right.
Well, the times were good this weekend. Sorry to interrupt there, JD. You were out there, what? It was an 8 or 12-mile run.
The times were okay. Last weekend, yeah, we did a long one. I think I got up to 12 and a half.
Well, that's like a half marathon.
Yeah, I didn't expect to go that long, but it was beautiful in the A. Sometimes you head out the door and it's like, I just want to be outside. I don't want to get back home in front of my computer. So yeah, it's like Forrest Gump out there, man. You just run.
Run, Skeets, run.
Right. Well, they did the big part of the new Beltline. Not to bore everyone here that don't know about Atlanta, but there's a big whole part now that they've paved, and it's awesome. You can go super, super far. So that's what we did.
Damn. Yeah. Tassie.
I don't know my answer to this question. Oh yeah. Well, I used to love video games. I used to really be into it, and now I finally purchased a Nintendo Switch. It took me till like this past Christmas. I say every freaking year. I said every year, like, I'm gonna get back into it. I could never get into 2K, and that was what I thought would get me into it. And I'm back, and I'm back on the course. I'm back on the racetrack specifically. I'm a shy guy in Mario Kart. And I'm kicking ass.
The shy guy. It's the type of guy who always goes fast.
Yeah. And way faster than my wife, way faster than my kids, my 4-year-old child. Can't touch me.
Oh, God.
Is that the only game you have?
No, I got a few.
Oh, you do?
I got a dance-a-thon game.
Oh, yeah.
I got another Paw Patrol game.
Cool.
God, yeah. On around. I have Mario Party. It's not bad.
Oh, yeah. Good
That's
time.
fun. Party games are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little slow. Mario Party's a little takes forever.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, last one, guys. There's been a lot of anger in the No Dunks universe this week. We heard a guy in Philly so furious at Ben Simmons, he brushed off a car accident he was involved in live on the radio. Over on No Buffs, we talked about how Leanna on Survivor simply cannot let her grudge with Xander go. And I lost my temper over people complaining about time. Talk about that thing that annoys you, that you're laser focused on and can never let it go. Trey.
I'm not a guy who gets annoyed very easily. Like yesterday, I talked about how I hate ham and how ham sucks, and it definitely does. But there are a lot of people out there who like ham, and it's like, if you want to eat ham, go ahead and eat ham. The only really annoying thing I could think of was I went on an adult ghost tour once. Tour guide told us it's after 10 o'clock, so you can drink if you want, and you can say whatever the hell you want. Right. So right away, I said jizz, horsecock. The guy was furious, but he said there were no rules about swearing. So we went to the dining room, which they call the dying room, which is pretty good, honestly. Yeah. It's a ghost tour. I asked the tour guide, did any of these fuckers ever pop out of the fucking wall and say, fuck, there's a horse cock in my room, or a donkey dick, or a dingleberry? He was heated. He was pissed, Leigh. Took me to the back room, told me I was ruining the tour. He told me to stop trying to be funny. Told me it was the worst day he ever had on his job. So I told him, I'm not trying to be funny, not trying to get a laugh. I don't want anybody to have their worst day at their jobs. All I want to know is if any of these fuckers ever blast out of the wall and have like a huge cum shot. He was still mad. I told him, you can't change the rules just because you don't like how I'm doing it. Somewhere our wires got crossed. He was saying we're allowed to swear, and I was saying big fat load of cum and horse cock, and he was getting mad. So they ended up kicking me out of the tour. My mom came to get me, drove me home, didn't make any friends, still pretty peeved about it, can't let it go.
What do you think, Leigh?
Horsecock.
It's okay. It's our last show.
All right. Well,
Skeets.
Oh, I don't know how I follow that. That is a crazy story. But I just get so annoyed with this one cupboard door in my bathroom that will not close perfectly.
You mentioned this before.
I have, and it's killing me, JD, because it's on my wife's side of the bathroom. It's like her sink. It's below her sink, and it doesn't bother her. Like she closes it, and it doesn't close perfectly. There's like an inch stays open on the one side. And every time I go into the bathroom, because of my OCD, I literally fix it every time. And I don't know what to do. I mean, I need to just fix it itself. But you ever try fixing like a cupboard door, like you know how like the hit, like it's such a dance. Like I'm gonna make it worse. That's what I know is gonna happen. So that's why I've been leaving it and I just do it. But holy crap does it annoy me? But it's like, it is my OCD. I don't know I can't not fix it when I go into the bathroom. And I'm like, I'm dropping Paul Pierce deuces left and right in there. So, yeah. Anyway.
I'll send over a guy to fix it for you.
Okay.
I got a guy. He's very good at cupboards.
But do you know what I'm talking about? Like with those things,
Yeah.
those are very
Totally.
difficult to like get perfect. There has to be a secret to it that we don't know about, like a
Totally.
little trick or something. But
See, I would, even though I don't, I have one that's broken in my house. I would have trouble calling someone to do it.
Oh, I agree.
I'm just like, I should be able to do it,
I
but I
agree.
also not going to do it.
yeah, me
I'm
too.
just going to let it roll.
Exactly. Bring us home, Tess.
Sure. I don't know how I follow those two up, but I got a problem with people who won't come up and speak to you face to face when they got an issue with you. Now it's about a specific issue. There's the people are cutting down some trees in my neighborhood, and that's, it's entirely fine to question those people. Do you have permits? You want to preserve the trees. I get it. But there's people out there who are sneaking up on properties and taking photos so they can send to the city.
Wow.
And it's happened. It happened also at my old house. It's the same thing as another person did it here in this neighborhood. Yeah, I had people coming up and asking the tree guys, hey, are there permits? That's fine. Those people are fine. But there are also other people who are just sneaking on, taking photographs so they get their evidence so they can do whatever the hell they're going to do with it. Nothing. Right. But anyway, just come have a conversation.
Right. Ring the doorbell. Let's talk. Let me explain what's going on. Right.
Let's talk about arborists. That's a pretty cool gig if you can get it. You want to talk botany? Let's talk botany, man. But don't be sneaking up and taking stupid photos. You got to zoom in and just... Anyways, people are weird. That's all.
That's annoying.
People
And
are
that
weird.
is Rapid Fire. And that's a long episode of the Drop Podcast. It's okay. It's Friday. And next week, it is Thanksgiving week. So we will not have a full slate of shows. I believe the plan, though, is JD, correct me if I'm wrong, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Mm-hmm. No buffs on Wednesday night following the episode, airing on the East Coast. And then we'll be off Thursday and Friday. Do I have that right?
That is absolutely correct.
Yes. There you go. That's why we don't feel too bad giving you a long drop podcast here to head into the weekend. But we'll be back on Monday to recap the NBA weekend winners and losers. If one pops into your mind or you think that would make a good one, let us know on Twitter at NoDunksInc. Leave it in the YouTube comments below this vid or email it in nodunks@theathletic.com. Get your No Dunks gear over at nodunks.com as we get closer and closer to the holidays. Got some new shirts. If you're only joining us here on a Friday, dropped them earlier this week. Got a classic factory shirt. And for all you Pacers fans, we got a No Dunk shirt. I actually saw, I think it was Worldwide Wob tweeting that the Pacers are dead last in dunks. You guys see this?
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't do any fact checking on it, but you can usually trust Worldwide Wob. So that Pacers shirt is amazing now. Hopefully they stay in dead last. So you can go grab those over at nodunks.com or breakingtea.com/nodunks. Get yourself an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. And again, we'll see you Monday. Leigh, man, I hope you get to this soccer match. I can't wait to see your Instagram account. Anything else you're getting up to over there in England?
Just going to be down Chasers with the lads, having a few pints. Lager for me, lager for Big Matt, lager for Trigger, sometimes cider. So different drinks for different needs.
That's right. Excellent. All right. Well, we'll talk to Leigh hopefully again on Monday with the whole crew here. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And all you out there who tune in for 2 hours of this, thank you for being a fan.
Embrace the weekend, people.